Nice, man. It's been a big year. I started watching the UFC this year. Man, that is my new favorite hobby. But I'll be honest, every time I'm watching a UFC fight, the only thing going through my head is like, yo, how are none of them crying? Have you ever been punched in the face? It's such a bummer. It'll ruin your whole night. Not those dudes. They take flying knees straight to the nose. They're just like part of the job. Like I don't understand that sort of pain tolerance. Like me, if I stub my toe in the morning, I'm like, we're shutting it down. All right, like, I have a boo-boo. We're gonna deal with it now. I wish one of the fighters cried. That'd be my favorite fighter, but I wouldn't want him just to cry. I'd want him to like rage cry. You know what I mean by rage crying? That type of cry that like a middle schooler does when he's been picked on too much. Like I love like a UFC fighter. He's in between rounds, just like. You really shouldn't have done that. He just goes out and wails on him like Ralphie from A Christmas Story. Like, you're gonna pay! That'd be my favorite fighter. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's human emotion. Also, why is crying not used more as an intimidation technique? Crying is terrifying. Like, if I were to walk out of here right now and some dude's like, fuck you, dude, I'd be like, this guy's a jerk off. But if someone were to walk in this room right now, tears streaming down their face, just be like, you're all gonna end tonight! I'm like, dude, we gotta get the fuck out of here. What? That dude's insane. Like, we're all in trouble. I'm telling you, I wish I was a manager for one of these fighters. Like, I would give them techniques that no one is utilizing. Number one, stop showering. If you really want to fight, if you want to win the fight, who wants to wrestle the smelly man? You know, like they're like, why did you tap out so easy? They're like, dude, his odor. That's why. It smelled like raw sewage. I have a family, all right. I need to get home to them. I do have a lot of respect for these fighters, but I gotta be honest, I can't watch their interviews. Like, I was watching an interview of one of my favorite fighters, and they were like, what was it like to knock him out? What was it like to knock him out? And he was like, well, first of all, I want to talk about my charity that helps out the at-risk youth. I was like, shut up, dude. Shut up. Like, you know how mad I would be if I got my ass whooped by a dude, and it turns out he's just a nice man? That'd be the worst. That's so much more humiliating. I can't lose a fight to a man that has a foundation. Like, that's why Mike Tyson's my favorite of all time. Mike Tyson's number one in my book because he would say wild shit to motherfuckers. He once told another grown man in a press conference, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass until you love me. It's like, yeah, of course I lost to him. That's crazy. Like, you should go to jail just for saying that. Like, that's a crime. I don't even like that I said into a microphone, to be honest. I'm sorry. It's just unholy. What the fuck? That's a wild thing to say to anybody. But I was making myself laugh thinking about that sentence. Just like, like what if that was your pickup line? Like, what if that was, you see a girl across the bar, you're like, I gotta make my move. You just go up to her like, I couldn't help but notice you across the bar. You're so gorgeous. But I have to let you know, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass until you love me. It probably wouldn't work. But here's the thing, if you told that line to the right girl with the right problems, you're gonna fuck her in the ass. That would land. No, man, it's been a big year for me. I started doing shrooms this year. Yeah, man, those are my two new hobbies: cage fighting and enlightenment. I've learned a lot about myself on shrooms. I learned I'm incapable of understanding art. I did. I went to a museum, even like peeking on shrooms, all my senses were heightened. I was like, you know what? That's just an old chair. I didn't like it at all. And I felt bad because I felt like I didn't understand the art like as good as other people were. Like I saw this old lady just gazing at a painting. I was like, you're faking that shit. Like, that's not a real emotion. Only thing I liked about the museum were the big statues. I really liked those. But even that, I didn't have a profound thought about them. I just saw them. I was like, man, I bet that took a while. Like, I would have given up. He didn't give up. Good for him. But then I'd read the plaque, and it was like, it was built in 1472. And I was like, I don't care anymore. I don't. Because it's like, of course he took the time to build that. He didn't have the internet to distract him. Like, can you imagine having a friend like that today? Like, you hit him up, you're like, hey, man, what are you doing on Sunday? You want to watch the game? He's like, nah, man, I'm going to be busy carving rock. You're like, what, dude? He's like, yeah, I'm going to take one of those big boulders. I'm going to turn it into a lady. You're like, oh, nah, dude, we have Pornhub. Like, you can't be jerking off to rock ladies anymore. That's crazy. You go to jail for that type of behavior. But for real, you go in these museums, you see all the statues. They're like a voluptuous women. They're like nipples and tits are poking out. It's very sexual. I don't know if it's my shroom brain or what, but I was like, yo, I think this was built by like horny dudes way back in the day. All this like pent up sexual energy with nowhere to put it. They're just like, fuck it, I gotta build some tits. You know what I mean? Like, I need to build some tits right now. Give me my knife, I'm gonna whittle me out some tits. Like, I'm gonna chisel me some titties. I don't know. I learned I'm more of a park guy on shrooms. That's my move. You know what I mean? Take some shrooms, walking through a park. You know, I love it. I end up becoming like a stoner in a bad high school movie on shrooms in a park. I was like, yo, this is a tree, man. Like, we get to experience this tree. My friend's like, yo, that's a bicycle. And I'm like, dude, you're just not in touch. You know what I mean? You're not understanding me. No, like I was going through I was on a park on shrooms with my buddy, and he just turned and he's like, yo, is it just me, or are these clouds for real right now? And I looked up and I was like, oh, these clouds are for real. And we just rolled on the ground laughing. And he was like, dude, do you think like some of the people here know that we're on drugs? And I'm like, yeah, man. We're two grown men giggling at the sky. Like, if we're not on drugs, something went horribly wrong. Like, it's good we're on drugs. No, man, this has been a big year for me, man. I actually just moved back to Houston. Yeah, H-Town. Yeah. I'm glad to be back. I lived in New York for 2 years, and that shit did not go well. Holy shit. I didn't fit in there. And I was excited to move to New York. I moved to Brooklyn. I was like, I grew up like listening to like Biggie and everything. I was like, man, Brooklyn's like a hard-ass place and everything. Then I get there, and it's just like a bunch of white ladies walking their rabbits. I'm like, yo, this can't be what Nas was rapping about. Like, I just didn't fit in there. Like I had a dog. I walk my dog all the time. And one time I was at a park, and just playing with this other dog. And I was like, oh, what's your dog's name? And this lady looked at me, she's like, it's Nelson Mandela. Like the activist? And I was like, oh, you're the worst. You're just the worst person ever. I was like, my dog's name is Mac. Like macaroni and cheese. You know, a normal dog's name. Who does that to somebody? Like, oh, you know my goldfish, Harriet Tubman, right? Like, oh, Jesus. What am I supposed to do, salute it? Like, all right. Fucking idiot. I had so many bad experiences there. Like I went to a bar and I had no money. My friends invited me out to a bar. They said, we'll pay for all your drinks. And my friends, they're a lesbian couple because I'm a New York progressive. And so we went to a gay bar, and the lady checking the IDs was like, do you have $10 to help support black trans people? And I was like, no. And she's like, so you don't support black trans people? I was like, no, I'm just poor. I can show you my bank account right now. I can't support myself. As a matter of fact, you have $10 to help support me? Like, I'm struggling. Also, what type of bigot do you think that I am? That I'm just showing up to gay bars in trendy Brooklyn neighborhoods being like, I gotta study what I hate, you know? I gotta, what's up with all these fancy clothes and dancing, you know? It's always a white woman, too. It's 100% a white woman just being like, is there racism I can solve? Like, oh my God. Oh my goodness, finally, you know? Like, oh, this is my chance. By the way, I hate white people. Just so you know, I know I'm white and I grew up in River Oaks. I would wear blackface if it wasn't racist. Just so I can experience I so bad just want to drop them off at Guns Point Mall just for a whole day and just watch it. I support you! I'm a good liberal. Fucking the worst people in the world. That's what I learned about myself in New York. I am Texas liberal. I am New York QAnon. Like, that's where I fall on the political spectrum.